When you fell across the beam, the light shine for that when hope no day.
In the small village of Uhonmora in Edo State, where red earth met deep green palm trees, and the air carried whispers of both ancient tradition and modern hope, lived a young woman named Eseosa. She wasn't rich. In fact, some would say she was poor. Her clothes were always clean but worn, and her shoes often had more stitches than leather. But what Eseosa lacked in wealth, she made up for with a light that shone from deep within. She had a beautiful spirit, a laugh that warmed the heart, and a smile that even softened the sternest market woman. She lived with her mother, Mama Rose, a devout Christian widow known for her fiery prayers and soft hands that sewed clothes for half the village. Every morning before the first cockcrow, their small room lit up with the sound of worship songs and Mama Rose's voice commanding the heavens. Eseosa, Mama Rose would always say, men will fail you, friends will betray you, but God? God no day fail. Eseosa believed it with her whole heart. Eseosa met Osagi on a Sunday afternoon at the youth seminar hosted by a local church. She had just finished leading worship and was sitting under the old mango tree, reading her Bible. Osagi, tall, well-dressed, and confident, walked up to her. You dey read that book like say your life depend on am, he teased. She looked up and smiled. Because he really do. They laughed, and just like that, a spark was lit. They started talking. One day turned into two, and soon they were inseparable. Osagi would walk her home after church events, sometimes carrying her bag, sometimes just holding her hand. Everyone noticed. The girl from a poor home and the son of Chief Aimwan, it was like something out of a Nollywood film. But Osagi's family didn't smile at the romance. Chief Aimwan, Osagi's father, was a wealthy cocoa merchant and the spiritual head of a traditional cult. His wife, Madame Ui, was feared in the village. She was a powerful woman, deeply involved in ancestral worship and dark practices. When she found out Osagi was seeing a church girl, she was furious. This girl go scatter everything way we don't build, she warned her son. You no go marry am. But Osagi was in love. He promised Eseosa that no one would come between them. He even started attending church more regularly. Then one day, he stopped showing up. Calls went unanswered. Texts were ignored. Eseosa waited for hours by the mango tree, heart in hand. Days turned into weeks. Then came the news. Osagi was getting married. To another girl, Ivy, the daughter of another powerful family. The arrangement had been made behind closed doors. Eseosa was shattered. Heartbroken and humiliated, Eseosa fell into a deep sadness. People whispered. Some mocked her. But Mama Rose held her every night and reminded her, cry, but no, forget who you be. You be daughter of the Most High. Eseosa turned to God. She joined the church's intercessory group, fasting, praying, and seeking strength. Meanwhile, Osagi's life took a turn. His marriage to Ivy was a nightmare. She was unfaithful, rude, and manipulative. His business began to fail. Strange things started happening, sleepless nights, voices in the walls, confusion in his mind. Even his father's cult powers couldn't help him. Madame Uyi tried everything. More sacrifices, deeper rituals, but the more they tried, the worse things became. One night, Osagi ran into the streets screaming. People said he had gone mad. That same week, a revival program was announced at the village church. Eseosa and Mama Rose were part of the prayer team. On the last night of the revival, something unexpected happened. A stranger walked into the church, dragging someone behind him. It was Osagi, dirty, shaking, eyes empty. The pastor laid hands on him and prayed with fire. The church roared. People cried. And as the prayers went on, Osagi screamed, collapsed, and went still. Then slowly, he opened his eyes. Peace, Real peace. He was delivered. Asagi begged for Eseosa's forgiveness. He told her everything, the lies, the manipulation, the voodoo. She wept. But this Eseosa was no longer the girl who waited by the mango tree. She had grown stronger, deeper, more rooted in God. "I forgive you," she said. "But now, I follow only God's will." Time passed. Osagi began rebuilding his life not with rituals, but with faith. He joined the church, studied the word, served with humility. Eventually, love blossomed again, not from charm, but from shared purpose. They married in a small but joyful church ceremony. The same people who mocked Eseosa now danced at her wedding. Madame Uyi, broken by the power she could no longer control, sat quietly in the back row. In time, she too gave her life to Christ. Eseosa and Osagi became ministers, traveling across villages, sharing their story of love, betrayal, hope, and redemption. Their message was clear. When the gods fail you, God will show up. And he did. The couple's story spread beyond Uhonmora. Local radio stations picked it up, and soon, they were invited to larger cities to testify. Eseosa spoke boldly, and Asagi shared how God had saved him from spiritual bondage. In Benin City, they planted a new church restoration fire assembly, where youths who were once lost found direction. Evie, now divorced and disgraced, also walked into their church one Sunday, broken and barefoot. Eseosa prayed with her not as an enemy, but as a sister. Evie gave her life to Christ that day. As the ministry grew, Mama Rose grew older, but her faith never wavered. She remained the pillar of their church, always sitting in the front row with her Bible and a worn-out tambourine. When she passed, it was in peace, surrounded by worship. Her last words were, "Tell them say God, still they answer prayer." Her funeral was more of a celebration. People danced, testimonies flowed. Eseosa knew she had to carry her mother's mantle forward. Years passed. Eseosa and Osagi's ministry touched thousands from Nigeria to Ghana, even the UK. They adopted children, built schools, and helped young women rise from poverty. Their love never faded. It matured, seasoned by storms. One evening, Eseosa stood at the altar, looking at a packed church. "No matter wherein you don't pass through, when the gods fail you, God go show up. Go carry you." The crowd erupted in praise. Their story wasn't just about love anymore. It was about destiny. The end.